Track 5.5, Unit 5, Exercise 3. Listen to a radio interview with Lena, who writes a blog, and choose the best answer A, B, or C.
Today's guest is 16-year-old Lena Lebowski, who writes a blog called Crazy Ways to Save. It's all about how young people can manage their money. Lena, what gave you the idea for the blog?
I got the idea after my sister went away to university. She spent far too much money at first, and then she had a really hard time financially. I found out that there were loads of people having the same problems as my sister, and this was hardly a surprise because schools weren't teaching their students anything about money management. I thought that was a shame. It's such an important skill. So I decided to fill the gap.
How do you find the time to write it?
Well, it isn't easy because I've got all my schoolwork to do as well. That ought to come first, but of course sometimes something for the blog is more urgent. I like to follow a strict schedule when I'm working on something. Every 30 minutes an alarm goes off on my phone and I stop for 5 minutes before starting again. If I don't do that, I don't use my time efficiently and I start falling behind.
Do you blog about your own experiences?
Not very often. I think people would get bored pretty quickly if I was always writing about myself. And I also think it's important not to share too much personal stuff on the blog. So, some of my life stays private. I usually write about people and issues in the news, but I do sometimes mention things from my own life when they make a particularly useful point or if I think they'll be entertaining. When I stopped using shampoo, for example.
You stopped using shampoo? Why?
Well, I'd read about other people who'd done it. In fact, they'd stopped buying other products considered essential by most of us too, like toothpaste and soap. I started washing my hair just with water instead of using shampoo, and I kept an online diary about it. But going without shampoo is one way of saving money that I wouldn't recommend. After a few weeks, my hair looked and smelled horrible.
What ways to save money do you recommend?
Well, people planning to save an amount of money each month often forget their good intentions and spend it anyway, even if they've put it in the bank. So, one tip is to give the money that you're saving to someone you trust, like a parent. If they look after it for you, it's harder to change your mind. But make sure you write down how much you give them.
And what's your favourite idea for cutting your spending?
It's hard to pick just one favourite. Making your own birthday cards for friends and family is a great idea, but I think the most useful tip is to buy clothing second-hand on online auction sites. You can find fantastic bargains. And this one's good if you're addicted to coffee like I am. Invest in a coffee machine and make a flask of coffee at home in the morning that'll last you all day. Anyone doing that can save a lot of money because the coffee sold in coffee shops costs a fortune.
Good tips. And one last question. You mentioned the 30-day rule in your blog. What's that?
Basically, if you think you really want to buy something, wait 30 days and then buy it if you still feel the same. Half the time you've changed your mind by then. I'm not keen on following the rule in January when the sales are on, but it's usually brilliant. Although waiting 30 days can be annoying, it stopped me buying all sorts of things that I'd have regretted.
Thanks for the advice, Lena.